Hey guys, it's Jake Kaufman and welcome back to the Way Outside Daily Playoff Recap. Hope everyone's doing well and have a great day. Obviously I missed doing one for the game for the last 2 days actually of games, which were the April 20th and April 21st. But now that we're a couple hours before Friday, the 22nd games, I'm just gonna try to get these recaps out pretty quickly for 2 days, and hopefully I'm gonna continue a daily rhythm from here on out. But yeah, so without further ado, let's go into the we had some great games on Wednesday. Uh, we had another classic with the Celtics. I think everyone expected this to be an all-time great first round series, and it's been a pretty great one for the first two games. Although something that I never thought I'd say is that Kevin Durant had back-to-back horrible playoff games, and he was exceptionally bad in in game two. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard about all the things from someone that he went 0 for 10 the second half of game two. But it wasn't just that. He was just losing the ball so easily. He just looked weak and just like disengaged, which you really almost never see Kevin Durant do because he can score 30 in his sleep. And he did have 27 total, but 18 for 20 from the free throw line, only 4 for 17 from the field in the game. And just, he was a minus 10 in 42 minutes. Just was not good. He did not play well at all. And the Celtics did a great job defending him. We've probably also seen videos on this, but they were just really getting into him and under him, which is Kevin Durant's one weakness. I think we all like to say he's not good with players that can get underneath him. Like Patrick Beverly has given some fits. PJ Tucker did something like that. Andrew Holiday did in that last year's Eastern Conference semifinals against the Bucks. And Kevin Durant's one weakness is that. And Celtics have been doing it to perfection. They also have backline help with Horford or Tice or Smart. They've just put a number of defenders on him, and they've just really frustrated him and made him struggle in a way I really haven't seen in quite some time. Kyrie Irving also had a very bad game. 40 minutes, he was only 4 for 13. The field, he only had 10 points. Did have 8 rebounds, weirdly enough, but he was also very bad. And Kevin Durant just didn't pass the ball to him in the fourth quarter, really to anyone else. He took basically every shot, and he kept missing, which is really bad. Their offense in the fourth quarter was terrible. It was ISO, 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 which is why I have continuously said that Steve Nash is not a good head coach. He cannot be the head coach that Celtics wanted him. I mean, the Nets wanted him because they knew Kyrie and Kyrie don't want to be coached. They just want to be able to do their own thing. But against a defense this elite, you can't ISO and win. I think we've been shown that the past two games because the Nets got as good of bench production or other help production as they could have asked for. Goran Dragic gave them 18 points off the bench in 20 minutes. They got 16 points from Seth Curry on 6 of 11 shooting and 4 of 6 and 3. And they got 23 points from Bruce Brown on 8 of 12 shooting, 8 rebounds and 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. They got basically as much of production from their others as they could have asked for. Maybe except for maybe Claxton and Drummond didn't play amazing, but still. They definitely got enough help for where if either of them had just played even a decent game, they would have won. But they both really shit the bed, and it was very weird to watch. When we look at the Celtics side, I mean, no one even played incredibly well for them. They just had a number of different. They just had a very well-rounded game as a team. But Peyton Pritchard was the unspoken of star. He had in just 60 minutes, he was a plus 15. He had 10 points, 5 or 7 shooting, 4 rebounds and an assist. And again, only 16 minutes. Grant Williams gave him 17 points on perfect 4-4 shooting and 6 rebounds, 2 blocks, and only 32 minutes. They got 22 points from Brown, 12 points from Marcus Smart, 15 points from Daniel Tice with 6 rebounds. They got 16 points and 6 rebounds from Al Horford, and they got 19 points and 10 assists from Tatum, who didn't shoot well, but like I said, he had 10 assists, only 3 turnovers, so a pretty good ratio. As far as the shooting splits, the Celtics shot pretty good from the field. They were 52% from the field, 35% from 30, 80% from the free throw line. The Nets didn't do great from the field, 46%. They were 48% from 3, but they only shot 21 of them, and 79% from the free throw line. The rebound and turnover battles were actually tied, which was meaning that this game really came down up to who would the stars play better, because the teams had a similar amount of. They had the Nets only had one more shot to attempt. They had one more team fail, but everything else basically besides the shooting stuff was exactly the same. So it was really came down to who made shots and who didn't. And the team with the supposedly less skilled offensive players was the ones that ended up doing it, which was definitely surprising. But like I've said, you can't ISO against this defense. They've been incredible. They've hit shots when they've needed to. As much as I don't think Marcus Smart deserved to be defensive player of the year, he's such a great defender and has made such an impact in this series. in so many ways already. And yeah, I mean, game three is going to be tomorrow night. And with Robert Williams coming back, as much as I want to say that people want this to be a great first round series, I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics win this, go 3-0. Maybe the Nets win game four with Ben Simmons playing, but I really think the Celtics are just on a different level than this Nets team, especially with Katie and Kyrie not showing many signs of life. But I think that's all we're going to do with that first game. Moving on to the Sixers and Raptors, it was the game three of that series. Didn't watch that one fully directly because it was going on at the same time as that first game, and also it's on NBA TV, so having to switch back and forth. But it's depressed. This is a rough one, a rough loss to the Raptors because they played very well for a lot of the game and really gave themselves a chance in a lot of ways. But in the end, Embiid overcame them because James Harden struggled he wasn't terrible, but fouled out in regulation at the end of regulation with 19 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. He was okay. He didn't feel like he did anything specifically special with nothing. Tyrese Maxey had an okay game, 8 for 18, 19 points, but he had 5 turnovers. Joel Embiid was his great self, 33 points, 13 rebounds, 12 of 20 from the field, 6 of 8, 9 for the free throw, and 3 of 8 from 3, including one big one that we'll talk about later. He did have 6 turnovers, though, but again, he got Danny Green and Tobias Harris didn't do that much. Well, Harris actually had a double-double, 11 points, 12 rebounds, so he was pretty decent. Their bench didn't give him that much. Georges Niang had 9 points. They got 2 from Ball Reed and 2 from Shake Milton, but other than that, it wasn't that much. The Raptors had Van Vliet has struggled again. And Van Vliet's really struggled a lot in this series, first of all, which has been difficult for them, especially with Scotty Barnes being out. He only had 12 points. He was 3 for 13 from the field, 2 of 10 from 3. He did have 9 assists and 5 rebounds and 3 steals, but still, he needed some more out of him. Gary Trent Jr. played pretty well. 24 points, 9-19, 4-9 from 3. And he played him and Van Vliet both played 45 minutes. They starters, except for Kemp Birch, played heavy minutes. OG Anunoby had a pretty good game too. 26 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Had a lot of big shots, including some in overtime that made it seem like they had a chance of winning out the game. Pascal Siakam didn't play great. 12 points on 6 to 16 shooting, over 2 from 3. He just didn't really assert himself, especially as he's considered one of the better players in this team. Especially he stepped up with Scotty Barnes' injury until we don't know. Thaddeus Young did end up playing, but he only played 6 minutes and was a -9, so it didn't really help that much. Chris Boucher, 17 minutes, 1 of 3, and 3 points. Precious Achua did play very well for them, though, in 36 minutes on the bench, 20 points and 6 rebounds. Did have 4 turnovers, but he overall played pretty well, 9 for 11 from the field, and he hit 2 from 3. But the main thing was just that the team as a collectively did not shoot well. They were 44%, 37% from 3, and 6 of 7, 12 of 18 from the free throw line, which when you lose by 3, you can look back on. On the other hand, the Sixers were 51% from the field. They were 41% from 3, made the same amount of threes as Philly. But actually the thing in terms of just strictly that, the only differential in points was that free throw line. But obviously I'm not going to say that those free throws are the reason Philly won the game, because it's not. But in a lot of ways, this game was really close. But they did really get killed on the boards. The Raptors did, which is surprising. Philadelphia had 46 rebounds, 32 of Toronto. I mean, they're a bigger team, but Toronto usually rebounds pretty well for their size, especially. But they got 2 players with double doubles, and Tobias Harris and Tom will be made easier. And lastly, that possession in overtime, and especially in the fourth quarter, the back and forth shitty offense and ISO thing was hard to watch. To the point where Embiid took a ridiculous step back 3 of the shot clock that everyone knew had no chance of going in. And it really looked like before that, when that time it was called, that last play, it looks like they were just going to get a terrible shot. I do have to give Doc Rivers credit, though, even though I don't think he's been a great coach, he's overrated. He did call timeout and drop that last play with 0.9 seconds to give Embiid that clean look, which he drained, which was an incredible shot. I was watching with my friends. We couldn't believe that he got it off that time, because you think of him as having a relatively slow jump shot, but he got it off with plenty of time, like 3 times left. So it was impressive. I think with this now, it's pretty obvious that Philly's probably going to it's probably sweep, but if they don't, they might. Toronto takes 1, but Philly loses in game 5 and moves on the second round, where it seems like they're going to face Miami. But obviously, there's more to be played in that series. But yeah, I think that's all we have for this one. Now we go to the last game of Wednesday night, which was my Bulls against the Bucks, and that was, that had me, that gave me goosebumps watching it, just because it was so weird seeing the Bulls in a position where they were up by 18 And then I've been accustomed to this team blowing leads at points this year. So I really got worried. I was very anxious down the stretch because I really didn't want, I know that, like, game one, we really had a chance to win and we didn't take advantage of it. And game two, we took advantage of it at times. So it seemed like we let them back into the game to the point that they were going to win. But I got to give the Bulls credit. They really helped pull it out in the end. The 4-point win. DeMar DeRozan had his best playoff game ever, in my opinion. He said he wasn't going to be 6 for 25 again. He wasn't. He was 16 of 31 from the field, 9 of 9 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, 2 blocks on Giannis, and 41 points. He was incredible. He actually went at Giannis in the fourth quarter a lot, and he had success more than anyone I've seen in a while. It's a weird thing because you don't think that he would be able to dominate Giannis just because even though Giannis is a better paint defender, perimeter defender, he's an amazing perimeter defender, but DeRozan just doesn't need space. As long as he can get the shot off, he's a good chance of making it from that area. And he went at Giannis a lot, and it was honestly incredible to watch. I just love DeMar's game, mid range, just the way he gets to it. It's so unique in our current NBA. But DeMar was far from the only big contribution in this game. Alex Caruso, in my opinion, was the player of the game. Well, the most important, the X factor. He started again, 38 minutes, 9 points, 10 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, only 1 personal foul. He was the team high or game high plus 16, 3 of 8 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, but his threes were huge, and he just made so many great passes. At the end of the third quarter, he found a shovel to find Vucevic an easy dunk. When the momentum seemed like it was turning back, his defense on Giannis, on everyone, he's just a pest, and it pisses people off, and it's amazing to watch. As if you're a fan of him, you'll hate him if you're on any other team. He's not like Patrick Beverly. Vucevic played very well. I have to give him credit. He had 24 and 13, 10 of 18 in the field, 4 of 8 from 3, 2 assists thing. His defense was actually pretty decent today. I mean, against Giannis, he struggled, but he did a good enough job on Lopez at times. He did make some good plays. He made some good rotations. He got us 1 steal that I remember was big. And his biggest play of the night was after Patrick Williams missed a 3 when the Bulls were up 3 with like 20 seconds left. He tapped it out over Giannis to Caruso that were able to get DeRozan that last shot where he finished over Giannis. So Vucevic played a very good game. I shot him a lot in the previous one. I have to give him credit. There's things I still wish he would get done better, but I have to give him credit. Zach LaVine had a good game. He didn't do as much as I think we expected him to. DeMar's played 44 minutes, by the way, which is a ton for a 32-year-old. But Zach LaVine made 43 minutes, 20 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 7 of 13, 3 of 4. He did hit a big 3, but he didn't seem like he tried to do too much, but like he had just enough impacts. Obviously, I think we're going to need more than 20 from him tonight and the rest of the series because I don't think Vucevic is going to give 24, but he played good enough. The Bulls really didn't use their bench much. The highest playing bench player was Javonte Green with 14 minutes, and he only had 2 points. The leading 12th bench was Kobe White, who only played 10 minutes. I think the Bulls really felt this was a must-win game, and they really leaned with their starters because they were playing well. And I forgot to say, Patrick Williams had 10 points and 9 rebounds, a steal, a block. He played pretty good defensively. There's times where he could have iced with a big shot, and he didn't. But I mean, he's so new back to playing, so it's expected. But I have to say, from the Bulls side, they shot very well from field free in the free throw line, 49% from the field, 48% from 3, even though they made 12, they don't take that many, and 14-15 from the free throw line. And they did a very good job on the boards. They only lost the rebound battle by 1, which was my biggest concern because Milwaukee's an amazing rebound team, and we are a terrible one. But yeah, when we're looking at the Bucks side, obviously, I'm guessing you've heard that Middleton's going to be out for the series, which makes me really optimistic as a Bulls fan. We have a chance to at least win another game because Middleton is such a cute thing. He's really their closer down the stretch as much as great as Giannis is, as great as Jrue Holiday is. Middleton was their closer down the stretch that whole last postseason, making the big shots and plays. And he was playing good before he got hurt. He had 18 points. He was 5-7 from 3. He had just hit and 1 3-pointer soon before he went out. It's a big loss to the Bucks. Giannis did his thing with 33, 18 and 9. I mean, his numbers were great. There was times where his impact wasn't amazing, but he had another great game. 11 of 18 free throw line isn't great, but I mean, again, 33, 19, 9. You can't really get too mad at that on over 50% shooting. 2 blocks as well. Brook Lopez had a very good game. Like unexpected, 25 points, 9 of 15 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 9 rebounds, 1 block, but he altered a lot of the other shots, and he played very, very well overall. Jrue Holiday was he gave you 15, 6 and 6. He only shot 6 of 16 from the field, and he had 6 turnovers. And his defense, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't try, but he just didn't have as much defensive lockdown success as he's had in the past. Wesley Matthews was their last starter. He gave 11 points in on 4-7 shooting. He had the worst plus minus in the game though, -13. I can't think of anything specifically he did wrong. I think just DeRozan feasted on him, but DeRozan basically feasted on everyone. So I'm not really going to blame Wesley Matthews at all here. The Bucks also didn't really use their bench much. I mean, Connaughton and Grayson Allen played 23 and 21 minutes, but they really didn't get. Portis got hurt early on with an eye. Apparently, he's supposed to be playing tonight. So I think that it's a big. I mean, it's a big thing, but I don't think it's a huge thing. But surprising that how little both teams use their bench. But again, I said I'm really proud of my Bulls. They did a very good job taking care of the basketball. They only had 12 turnovers. They had 25 assists. They made a lot of good plays and clutch shots, and they did what they needed to do to win. And for a team that was so bad defensively at the end of the regular season, I have to give the Bulls credit. Even though some of it's the Bucks missing shots, the Bulls have really been trying on defense. And Caruso is behind all of it, but they've really been trying, and I'm really proud of them for doing that because obviously there was a time where it looked like we were going to get steamrolled every game, and obviously that hasn't happened yet. But moving on to yesterday's games. Oh, what a wild one we had in our first one with the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. If you didn't watch it, Minnesota had a 26-point lead in the first half. I believe it was 79-50. Oh wait, no, it was 26 at one point, but remember it was 79-54, and the T-Wolves just choked, ran out of gas, fell apart, completely collapsed. It was horrendous. The fourth quarter score was 37-12 Memphis, and they just did everything they needed to win in the end, and they did it without Ja Morant playing great. I mean, he did have a triple-double with 16 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 blocks with 7 turnovers, including his last block was incredible, but like all of them. But he was only 5 of 18 from the field and 5 of 10 from the free throw line. Still a plus 20 in game high 41 minutes. But, I mean, obviously, you expect better from him. Like they didn't play Steven Adams at all anymore. I think they coached Jake finally realized that he just can't play him in the series. It's not like a permanent thing, I don't believe, but he really just doesn't fit in this series. Desmond Bane played pretty decently. He was 8 for 9 from field, 7 of 15 from 3. He had 26 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He also had 2. They had a lot of blocks. They had 9 blocks, which was pretty good. Even though Timberwolves had 11, but they got some blocks from people they wouldn't necessarily expect. Miss Lane. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. I had a song stuck in my head, but another thing I think was really key. Brandon Clark was the X factor in this game, man. He played 29 minutes with 20 points, 8 rebounds in a block, but he was making all the key plays in the end. Remember, he had a couple of key putbacks. He forced a travel on Karl-Anthony Towns checking a 3, not seeing him, and then going up and down. He played a great game, even though his was a -1. He was such an impactful, important player and reason that they won. Let's see who else. Dylan Brooks struggled. He was only 4 for 14 with 11 points. Jaren Jackson Jr. only had 6 points, 7 rebounds. But they need to. They only shot 42% from the game, but they did shoot 38% for 3. But they really struggled at the free throw line. But they did enough of what was needed, especially in the second half defensively. But they did have 18 turnovers, which is a lot. But like I said again, Timberwolves struggled all night really struggled in the second half to make shots. It's really weird if you look at the final box score because in the first and third quarter, Memphis put up 39-32. In the second and fourth, they had 12 each. It's so crazy how much the energy and the effectiveness of their offense shift. Sorry, guys, it took a long break here, so I honestly forgot what point I'm on. So I'm just gonna move on to the next game, which was the Mavericks versus the Jazz. The score of it was the Mavericks ended up winning again without Luka, which is honestly crazy, Excuse me, I think a lot of people thought that Dallas wouldn't get any game that Luka didn't play, but they've been very impressive without him, especially Jalen Brunson, who had another amazing game. He had 31 points, 5 assists, 1 turnover, 12-22 from the field. He was 0 for 4 from 3, but again, he's just been so impactful for them. And Maxi Kleber again had another big game. He was 17 points in 22 minutes off the bench. He was 4 for 5 from 3. They got 15 from Davis Bertans and 4 threes from him. They got 3 threes from Josh Green off the bench, who had 12 points and 6 assists in 19 minutes. They got Finney Smith played well again. especially defensively, was so active. He had 14 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 steals. He was the highest plus minus for them, plus 12. He played 47 minutes. Wow. He played almost the entire game. Reggie Bullock had 12 points and 6 rebounds, played good, well, gave them 3 threes as well. Dinwiddie really struggled. He was 6 for 21, 2 7 for 3. He did give them still 20 points total. He did have 6 rebounds. 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, but obviously that wasn't the best. And he also fouled out. But it was very impressive. They went 18 of 42 from 3, which is obviously very, very good. And they did an amazing job limiting the Jazz from getting up threes. The Jazz only got up 28 threes, and we know the Jazz have the last few years have really liked to get them up. So it was honestly a real sign and showing just how well this Dallas defense has been playing. Dallas shot 49% from the field, 43% from 3, 84% from the free throw line. 24 assists, 8 turnovers, pretty good ratio. And they did decently well on the boards, but they just really shot the ball well from 3 and used that other penetration to help them get other shots. Because they shot almost half their shots from 3. No, they shot over half their shots from 3, excuse me. But they did a good thing. They made their free throws. And yeah, on the Jazz side, Mitchell had some high scoring totals in the other ones, but he had really struggled from the field. This one, he was better. He was 10 to 21. He was only 1 for 8 from 3, but made that for that with 11 for 12 from the free throw line, 6 assists too. He had 32 points. He was the only him and Bogdanovich were positives on the starting lineup. Pascal did play well off the bench, but Rudy Gobert did finally have more of a scoring output. This time he had 15 points, 6 of 6 shooting, 7 rebounds, only 1 block though. Mike Conley was He was 6-14, 2 for 7, 7 8. He had 21 points and 6 assists, but he was 4 turnovers and he wasn't minus 16. Gobert was minus 16 as well. Royce O'Neal played 32 minutes and only had 2 points. Didn't even shoot once. Kind of crazy. Eric Pascal, like I said, he had 6 points off the bench, crazy thing is the Jazz shot so well from the field. They shot 57% from the field, but only 9 of 28 from 3. And the free throw line, they were good. So it's just that they made so many less threes. That's honestly the reason they lost this game, because they shot so well from 2, but they really struggled from 3. And just also they struggled to get them up. Like I said, Dallas is doing an amazing job, and they were talking about it, just preventing them from even shooting threes, which is really incredible because it's pretty normally if you want to shoot a 3, you just fucking jack it up. So honestly, in Pezzo, Luka's supposed to play game 4. I really think the series is over, and Dallas has a chance to I would say the Suns win, even though they're going to be so. It's going to be a tough series for the Suns, especially let's say if Booker doesn't come back by then. But let's move on to the last game, the Warriors Nuggets, which was a Kazakh. Nuggets looked like they were going to win for a while, and Jokic did finally play a great game in this series. He did 37, 18, and 5. 3 steals. He did have 5 turnovers, but he was 14 for 22 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 7 of 9 free throw line. He did everything he could and played 38 minutes too. Even crazy, he doesn't play a lot of minutes even when they need him to, but it's conditioning probably still isn't there. But and they honestly, there was especially in that third quarter, it really looked because Denver outscored Golden State 30-18 in that third quarter, and there was times so it really did look like there was gonna be a chance that it wasn't gonna be working like that. So yeah.
But also, I just think that the other key thing was the bench of the Warriors, because the starters of the Nuggets played decently well. Aaron Gordon had 18 and 12. Actually, it was a pretty good game overall. Monte Morris was 10 points, only 4 but low turnovers. Jeff Green didn't play well, and the bench they didn't get much at all. Just 6 points, 4 points, 9 points. No one really played well for them. And the Warriors bench was very impactful. Of course, Steph Curry himself was great. He went 27 and 31 minutes, 9-17, only 3 from 9 from 3, and he missed 2 free throws, which is weird, but he just changes the whole dynamic of everything. So it's been amazing, impressive. Gary Payton II in 14 minutes had 11 points and so plus 10. Just doing a great job defensively, getting into the guards, making it harder for them to get it. Ball to Jokic. Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole both played very well, and also I think the greatest thing is Klay was able to play 37 minutes. That's a great sign. He had 26 points, 8 out of 18 field, 6, 13 from three. Only one rebound, one assist, doesn't matter. Jordan Poole was great. 9 for 13 from the field, 3 of 9, 3 of 5 from three, 6 of 9 for the free throw line, 27 points. He had a clutch reverse layup late where he didn't even use the backboard. He's just becoming such a great player. And I think I heard this point earlier, and I agree, as well as no one wants Clay to have gotten hurt. The fact that Clay got hurt gave the opportunity for Jordan Poole to become this good because I don't think he wouldn't have gotten the minutes. He wouldn't have had the chance to. And now that they're all back together and healthy, it's scary. Iguodala also played some nice minutes for them. And let's see, Draymond Green, 6 points, 5 runs, 10 assists, 2 steals, block, a late clutch steal on Jokic where he made a great play. He's just done a great job on Jokic, despite giving up half a foot, and it just shows how great of a unique and great of a defensive player he is. Because as much as we want to stretch it on him for his offense, which is at times horrendous, I'm not going to try to deny it. He also does do so much for this team, and he is really the key there. I think this is going to be a sweep, and I think the Warriors, are really going to be a challenge for whoever they play next. Even though assume they look like it'll be Memphis after that, but I think earlier in the season it looked like Memphis would. There are a couple weeks ago people say Memphis for sure, but Warriors really have a chance to go really far in this playoffs, and it's been fun. They've been playing a fun brand of basketball. 29 assists as well. I mean, the Warriors won when they only had. And they got rebounded by 14 because they were 18 for 40 from three, which is just incredible. 55% from the field. The only thing where they didn't play was the free throw line. They were 18 to 28 uncharacteristically, but everything else they did amazing. So it's going to be really fun to watch this team. But I think that's going to be it. It's going to be a little bit of a longer one because it's 2 days. But yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.